I'm going to hand you some pictures.
Okay, all right.
And I would like to get your reaction. I'm going to ask you a couple questions about them. But
Okay.
just kind of go slow. There's only a couple, but go slowly through them.
All right. I feel like Abraham Lincoln, when you're in office so long, you age so much, but that is a very young, good-looking Michael Malone with the shaved head, which both my daughters want me to go back to, by the way.
Why?
I don't know, they like it. My oldest daughter wants me to shave the head and get the beard back. I don't know, and my wife says no. So that's one.
That was your announcement picture when you got the head coaching job with the Denver Nuggets.
So I could tell, I think I have a lapel pin that I remember wearing that honored fallen police officers in California. So yeah, that looks like 2013, 14 roughly.
What would you tell your younger self?
Oh, wow. I don't know. What would I tell my younger self? I would tell myself to take it one day at a time, surround yourself with good people, and stay true to yourself. And I think that's advice that I've gotten from my mother and father for many years. But I remember getting fired from that job and thinking it was the end of the world. And what a blessing. And I can't believe, 8th year, 4th longest tenured coach in the NBA right now, 8th year in Denver. This is home for us, and that was a start of something, and I'm hoping to finish something here. Oh, this is great. This is like out of a movie. You couldn't have scripted this surprise MVP party for Nicola any better. And I'm really happy to see Natalia and Ognjena, their daughter, there, because she's the one that kind of orchestrated the whole thing. I mean, we even have Bob in the picture. That's the kind of party it was. We got Bob, Nikolai in the house. But I'll never forget, Katie, is Nicola is coming around the bend, and all of a sudden live music starts happening, and you can tell he's confused. He's like, what is going on? And as he got closer and closer and realized what exactly was taking place, and just to see the emotion, the tears of joy and celebration it was a great time, it was a good party, and really thankful to be a part of such a wonderful celebration for not only an MVP player, but an MVP guy. Any questions on that one?
I don't. You summed it up perfectly. I was going to say, like, when you look back on it now, does anything else stick out with it? But you said it's like a movie.
It really was. I mean, because you couldn't have, to fly over there with, Tim Conley, and from there, I actually went with Tim, Josh, and Mike Neary up to London to see my first Premier League soccer game, which was nuts. I highly recommend doing that someday if you haven't. But I think what really stands out is just the togetherness, the family kind of, the bond, the connection. I think that was my 4th time going over there to spend time with Nicole and his family, and just to celebrate. I think the funniest part was we went to celebrate, and then Nick O'Hare says, hey, we got to go back and do an interview at TNT. And Nicole's like, we've been sitting here drinking and dancing for 3 hours. And to go back and to be a part of that was kind of hilarious as well. So just a wonderful, wonderful time and moment, and hopefully it's not the last one. The Three Amigos. It's been, I tell you what, the first thought I have when I watch this is it has been a long time since those 3 guys have been on the court together. I guess you go back 2 seasons ago in Golden State, Jamal with the ACL. You go back last season, 9th game of the year against Houston, Michael with the back. And ho-hum, Nicole with 2 MVPs in that time. And so going into my 8th year, going into training camp, I just feel really, excited about having Jamal back, having Michael back, because they're such a big part of our team and our future and what our goal is. We all want to win a championship, and we're not going to do that without Michael and Jamal Murray. So when I see this picture and the fact that we drafted these 3 guys, we've developed these 3 guys, we've loved and supported these 3 guys, it just makes me even that much more excited for the upcoming season.
You mentioned championship is the goal. but what are the expectations for this season?
You know, the expectations for me start with you trying to bring back 2 players that have missed significant time. I want to make sure everybody understands that takes time. It's a process. The team we're going to be come April, we're not going to be that team in September, in October, and November. We will be a work in progress as we work guys back into their game rhythm, work guys back into recreating that team chemistry. On top of the fact that we lost 8 players from last year's roster, and we brought in 8 new players this year. And for years, one of our strengths was continuity. And I think this year, and I'm excited about this, I love every player that helped us the last few years, but I'm also excited about adding guys like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, DeAndre Jordan, Ish Smith, Bruce Brown, as well as all the young guys, you know, the Christian Brauns, the Peyton Watsons, the Colin Gillespie's, the Jack Whites. So, you know, change is inevitable in this business. And I'm excited with the new group that we have. We had a great offseason, great September, great August. Guys were in the gym. I challenged them to be here, and they were. And now we get ready to head to training camp and kind of hit the ground running. And so the expectations, Katy, are to let's get better every day and trust the process. You know, like we're not going to win a championship in September or October. But if we do the work and get better every single day, I think that will allow us to put ourselves in a position to be a true championship contender.
A couple more with some things that are happening around the NBA season this year. They're doing a rivalry week. Do you think that rivalries still exist in the NBA, and who do you think the Nuggets rival is?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for me, it's different because I grew up in this league, you know, and I go back to when my father was with the Knicks, and the rivalries they had with the Miami Heat, the Indiana Pacers. My father was an assistant with Chuck Daly in Detroit. The rivalries with Chicago and Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson. The league has changed in terms of how the game is officiated, but I think there still are rivalries. And obviously, you know, one of my micro goals this year is to get back to winning our division. You know, last year we were 6-10. That's our worst mark in the Northwest Division since 2016-17. So, last couple of years, Utah, Portland in the playoffs, and there's another team. And you know what I'm talking about. You know, that I think has all the makings of a tremendous rivalry in Minnesota. And I think they're great. I think it brings out the best of everybody involved. And we look forward to those.
No one's playing on Election Day this season. And I guess I'm looking for, why is it important for everyone to get out and vote, but also for the NBA to make that kind of statement? What does that say?
I think it speaks volumes about Adam Silver, the league as a whole, our NBPA, led by Chris Paul and all those guys. I think out of all the leagues, and no disrespect to the NHL, the NFL, Major League Baseball, but I think out of all the leagues, I think the NBA is ahead of the curve in terms of, you know, social justice, in terms of making sure we're not playing games on Election Day. So sending a message of, hey, we as an organization, as a league, are making sure that our players, our coaches, our staffs, families have the opportunity to go and vote, because we think it's important for everybody to get out and vote. And we all know that the last few years, all the legislation going on, which is incomprehensible in so many ways, that is making it harder and harder for people to vote. Like, we're going back, we're regressing instead of moving forward and finding ways to make voting easier for everybody. So the league, once again, continues to set the example. And that's why, you know, on top of loving the job that I do, I'm also really proud to be part of such a tremendous association that is about all the right things: equality, social justice, the right to vote, all those types of things, and hopefully we can help in our own community to make that happen.
What's your message to Nuggets Nation in terms of showing up this season, but also just what you want them to know?
My message would be, you know, continue what you've done for 7 years. You know, I try not to, but sometimes I take a step back and reflect on where we started, where we are, and where we want to go. And where we want to go cannot happen without our great fans. They have made Ball Arena one of the toughest places to play in the NBA. And so all I would ask is continue to support us through the good times and the bad, have our back, and we will do everything we can to go out there and make you proud on a night-to-night basis.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.